Good morning, students of class 9. You are welcome back to the e-classes now. Let's continue our lesson in history. We are doing Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. This is the title of the chapter, and we have reached 2.4. The subtitle of the chapter, A Turbulent Time, the 1905 Revolution. That is from page 33. And in our previous class, pay attention now, listen carefully. In our previous class, we have learnt that the factory workers, or you can say the socialist democratic, and the village peasants, socialist revolutionaries, both of them, they joined together and they protested against the high prices of food grains, about the long hours of working day hours reduced. They demanded that it should be reduced to 8 hours, and the increase in wages, because the wages were reduced to 20% reduction was done in the wages. We have learned in our previous class. Now, and they took to the streets. They combined together and took to the streets. Almost 10,000, more than 10,000 workers of St. Petersburg, they took to the streets. Now, after that, what happened? Let's see the progressing of the 1905 revolution. Let's talk about number 1, 2.4, number 1, from page 33. When the procession, these socialist democratic parties and socialist revolutionary parties both combined together and took to the streets demanding various things. They demanded the increase of wages, demanded the reduction of working hours and working condition, improvement of working condition, and so on, we have learned. So when the procession of the workers the procession was led by Father Gapon. Remember now, Father Gapon, when they reached the Winter Palace, when they reached the palace where the Tsar government was there, where the Tsar Nicholas resided, when they reached the Winter Palace, their procession, it was attacked. It was attacked by policemen. It was attacked by police and Cossacks. Cossacks means cavalry, horse, the soldiers who ride horses, that's called cavalry. So they were attacked by the factory workers and peasants who protested against the Tsar government about the rise of food prices and so on. They were attacked by police and Cossacks or cavalries. Number 2, over 100 workers were killed. They were attacked. Firing took place. It was known as Bloody Sunday. Over 100 workers were killed and about 300 wounded. This incident, number 3, this incident was known as Bloody Sunday. It was the beginning of the Great Revolution of Russia, 1905 revolution. It was known as Bloody Sunday, since the incident took place on Sunday and there was a loss of blood, there was loss of lives. Hundreds of workers were killed, they were shot, and 300, more than 300, this is an official number, more than that, 300 wounded. So this incident was known as Bloody Sunday. This incident started a chain of events or a series of events that became known as the 1905 revolution of Russia, in Russia. So this incident was the starting point, that was the flash point of the revolution. These factory workers and peasants, they took to the streets. They have reached the Winter Palace. They took to the procession, and the incident took place and 100 workers were killed, more than 300 were wounded, and this incident was known as the Bloody Sunday, and it was the flashpoint. A chain of reactions took place, a chain of action took place after that. After that, strikes took place all over the country. Strikes. Educational institutions were closed. The students also demanded good facilities. They walked out of the institutions and the institutions were closed. Schools, colleges, universities, all were closed. Lawyers, doctors, engineers and other middle class workers, they established their own unions. They formed their unions. Union of unions. Small unions. Doctors union, lawyers union, engineers union, students union, laborers union, workers union, and all were combined under one union. Union of unions, and demanded a constituent assembly. They demanded a constituent assembly which was going on, which took place in European countries also. The same thing happened in European countries. The king became a constitutional monarchy. They wanted the same thing, and it will be easy for the revolutionaries to take out or remove the king in this way. So they demanded a constituent assembly. So this was their demand ultimately. Now the king was pressurized. The Tsar government was pressurized. He had to accept. But it did not last longer. Let's see now. During 1905 revolution, Tsar government was pressurized and allowed the creation of an elected consultative parliament. Consultative, not pure parliament. Consultative parliament or Duma. So the Russian parliament is also called Duma. Don't forget. Still now also it is called Duma. Here the first Duma was created. The first parliament was created. That too, consultative parliament was created, or you can say the Duma was created. Elected consultative parliament. This Tsar government was pressurized. He bowed down and he allowed the creation of consultative parliament or the Duma. But later on he dismissed this parliament. We'll talk about in our next class about what happened after the creation of consultative Duma or parliament. What event unfolded. So we'll talk about that in our next class. So this was for today. I think you can see this. During 95 revolution, the Tsar allowed the creation of an elected consultative parliament or Duma. So it's easy. To be continued in our next class. What happened after the creation of this Duma, consultative Duma, a temporary Duma. What happened after that? Did it last long? Or were they able to form constitution? Were they able to change or shift the power from the Tsar Nicholas to the parliament, or were they failed? So let's continue in our next class. Thank you very much for watching so attentive and paying so much attention. You must be present in the class all the time. So don't miss the class. Thank you very much. So we'll meet in the next class and continue.